All right, we're on live. So, I think we're just supposed to discuss the simulation that we did and make an agreement on our negotiation of the equity.
So if you guys are all right, I think we all should just go around and kind of talk about our splits that we've all come up with and then kind of discuss and try to figure out what we as a group think is the best way to do it. If you guys, I think that's going to be the quickest way for us to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys don't mind, I'll go ahead and start first if you want me to.
Sure. Who are you negotiating for?
I believe George.
Okay.
um, so the split that I have for the splits for founders equity, I have Michael sitting at 44.1%. That's a little bit lower than what he wanted. I believe he wanted 45%. Myself, George, I have set at 29.6%. Is it Puck or Puck? I have it 24.8% and Warren at 1.5. Um, One of the reasons I have Puck is at 24.8 is because he's still getting a salary of 80,000. Um, I don't I don't think he needs any more than that when he's getting a salary of 80,000 on top of it as well. Just my kind of my feeling on it. So, and then with Warren, I George have said that I feel like his contributions were important. Um, Although he's not doing very much at this point in time, his contributions were vital in getting the company up and running. So I'm willing to give him 1.5% of my equity just so that he can keep equity in the company. So those are my quick numbers.
All right, cool. Do you want to go next, Mike?
Sure. So I'm representing Fook, I believe is how you say his name, and he obviously he came to the game a little bit later, but he is the programmer. He'll be writing the whole website, putting it all together. Um, anyways, um, the totally agree with Michael getting a little bit larger share because he was the original one to come up with the idea and as a founder, and that should be rewarded. Um, so I understand that. As far as the contributions of the original $5,000 from Michael and George, the um, most of that money was never spent, so not really seeing how that um, ties into it. I mean, if we're looking at cash contributions, I mean, I'm coming in and or Fook is coming in and he's going to be writing his writing the software and everything on computers and stuff that he owns that will be used by the company, and those will definitely be more than $5,000. So I mean, if we're trying to look at what cash value has been put in the company, then that's kind of a draw. Same on the salary. Um, Fook has um, Fook has the skills, the know-how, how to put this together and how to lead getting it put together. Whether you hire somebody else to do it, Fook would still be the lead guy and making sure that that went properly and was done correctly. But since Fook also knows how to do the work himself and has experience in doing it, then you don't have to spend the money within the company. So that would be the reason for Fook being able to pull a salary and still keep his founder's percentage. Um, Additionally, Fook has to give up. Fook is working right now, whereas both Michael and George are students. So Fook would be walking away, quitting his job, not making any money while he's doing this, and somehow supposedly paying his bills. Um, so that's definitely the salary has to happen, and the as far as for Fook wanting to see the shares go down, that's not going to happen. If Michael wants more, then um, it either needs to come from Warren or it needs to come from George. And yeah, so that would be the four criteria that Fook has a problem with.
Cool. So do you know like how much equity do you want for Fook?
The 33.3%, the evenly divided between the three, not really seeing. That's the other issue Fook has, is not really seeing. Yeah, Warren was in there originally, but he never really did contribute much in it. He wasn't willing to stick it out and be a part of the team. So not really understanding why he is getting really anything out of it. He didn't even ask for anything really when he left.
Okay. So what I have, so Michael's concerns, so who I'm representing, he's just thinking like, so the agreement in November, we all talked about how like whoever is doing like the most contributions will get the most equity, and then along with like founding the company. So originally we agreed that Michael will get the premium equity, so everyone gets equal equity except for Michael gets like 5% extra. And then looking at it after, I think it was around February, he was looking at it again, and George was like off on vacation, and then Fook was like spending a lot of time at his job doing the consulting. Michael was working like full time on the business, so he decided he was thinking that the negotiation was like a little bit unfair to him. So it sounds like you guys both agree that Michael should get more equity since he had the original idea and he got the angel investor to come finance. Um, I'm not like, I'm willing to go less than 45%. So I can like make it so Fook is happy and George is happy. But so Fook, if let's see.
What was the original percentages? I mean, it was divided three ways, but we were talking about 5% more going to Michael. So Michael would have, what would be 30, 30, let's see here. What would that divide up to? 32 and a half, 32 and a half.
So, but
35
there's
now.
4%, there's 4% seed equity,
Okay, so that automatically comes out. Okay.
and then we had 1% for Warren. So there's 5%, and then let's see. So that's 5%. George and Fook get equal shares, and then Michael gets the same as them plus 5.
Okay, so it sounds like it's
Calculate
30 for George, 30 for Fook, 4% to seed equity, 1% into Warren, and 35 to
Michael.
Michael. Sounds like what the original agreement was.
Yeah.
I don't have my case study with me. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay, so let me write that down so I don't forget. So Michael's at 35. Fook is at 30. George is at 30. And Warren is at 1. And the last guy is at seed equity. And that was based off of the $5,000 contributions from Michael and George.
Yeah.
Originally. Okay. All right. Okay. So in my, so what I'm thinking is, as far as for Michael, from the perspective now, yes, Michael was putting more work into it in the beginning, but Michael also jumped the gun before everybody left in November. to go do their things to Europe, and Fook went to take care of some consulting contracts he had. The agreement was this, and everybody was going to go their separate ways to take care of things. There was a break going on, all that. And Michael jumped the gun, decided he needed to just get into it, and jumped into it. It was still tied to their previous obligations. So, yeah, of course, it would look like Michael was doing more work because Michael went ahead, jumped into it while everybody else was wrapping up their stuff. The other thing is, from Fook's perspective, if you look at the job descriptions, Michael has that he got a lawyer hired, he went incorporated, he went all these little things add up to hours, not many hours. You know, there was lunches with the seed money guy, but if you look at what Fook's responsibilities were in this original list, it just said, you know, basically design website. A little bit more. You know, designing a website is a heck of a lot more work than just, you know, it's like, you know, World War II wasn't won because they just went and built a bomb. You know, there's a lot more stuff to it. So Fook's perspective is his job load is just kind of being, his job description is just kind of being held light, not being recognized for what it's worth, and that might be why Michael is thinking that he's doing more work. The other thing that Michael needs to remember is, until George and Michael say exactly what they want the site to look like, what they want the features to be, what is Fook supposed to do in the first place? You know, so Fook's work is going to be on the more towards the latter end, and it's going to be a lot. So that's why he feels entitled to, you know, not only the founders share the original agreement, that 30% and nothing less, prefers more because said doesn't feel Warren is really contributing anything. I mean, if George wants to give Warren some of his shares, then that's fine. He can do that. But Fook's not on board with that. And then, you know, and then in addition, the at least 70,000, if not 80,000 in salary, so that we can turn off all the other consulting work we're tied into and just concentrate on this.
Cool.
What's your guys' thoughts?
Let's see. So it looks like the seed equity is actually, it's not included on here because I'm typing in numbers for the equity and it's adding up some more. So what I think is, like, Fook has a point because he's going to be doing a lot of the technical work for the website and everything. But just the way I am seeing it is, like, even though Fook wasn't an original founder, like, we're still going to give him close to a third of the company in equity, which is pretty good, and plus the salary. So what I'm willing to do is, like, I'll take 41% equity, so not the original 45, but I'll drop down to 41, and then George and
Michael was at the fact.
Sorry, what?
That might be why it's not adding up. It should be 35, 30, 30, 1, and 4.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, it's not the seed equity. It's not, you know, the simulation, the score calculator.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It's having me add it up to 100% without the seed equity in there.
Okay, so then that seed, as it stands right now, that seed equity would be 2% for both Michael and George. Be 2 with Fook staying at. You see what I'm saying?
No.
If that seed was 4%, you're just dividing that between the two right now.
Well, the seed equity is the original contribution that was put in. So Michael and George both put in 50-50 on that, so they would have been 50-50 as far as the seed equity.
Right. That's why I'm saying that 4% out of the 100%, to make it 100%. Does that 4% comes off the 100%, right?
No, it's not coming off the 100% from the score calculator that I'm looking at. So I guess
It's not.
the founder's equity and the seed equity are different. So the 4% I was talking about, it's not included in the founder's equity. It's a separate thing.
I don't know how it can be separate though. It's ownership in a company.
Well, it's because they haven't done the seed equity yet, because that's when they're going to include the angel investment, and then it'll become the same. But as of right now,
I thought the seed equity was the original. It wasn't the original 5,000 that Michael and okay, all right. So then we need to discuss how we're doing the original shares, the equity split among that 100, and then I guess then we go down to then we would discuss how we're gonna do split the equity then from the
okay,
seed
yeah,
equity.
okay.
Okay, so as far as
So
for the founders equity split, how do we want to continue with that?
well, so I agree with Fook that Warren should own. I put down for Warren 1%. That's what we.
He had 1.5 before, didn't he?
That's
What did Warren have?
no, that's what he had 1%, but Dallin wants him to have 1.5.
Right.
I think he should have 1%. He didn't really contribute that much, and then he just bailed.
Yeah, I don't think he should have 0.
Let's start at the top.
Mark Zuckerberg didn't give anything to those two twins, whatever the heck those people were. What was their names? The Finkelberg twins or whatever that got smoked for not. What the heck was their names? Anyways, I'm off point. What do you think, George?
I am still a firm believer that, while Warren is not participating at this time, Warren did put in very key contributions at the beginning of the company. Although he's not with us anymore, he still did make the company actually get up and started. So anything less than 1.5% is not acceptable. One of the things that, we don't understand about him is, what's that? Were you saying something? Sorry.
$1 million for his 1 week.
Can you hear him?
No, he's frozen. The service must be going out.
Oh. Michael, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch anything you were saying. I apologize.
No, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Saying so if the company makes $100 million, Warren is entitled to $1 million for his 1 week of work.
Well, without Warren's 1 week of work, the company would have never gotten up and going without having to pay somebody even more money. So, in my opinion, yes, that one week of work that Warren did, if that's what it was, is worth 1.5%.
What did he do that first week?
Warren did. Let's see. trying to find it. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Be on the lookout.
Okay, so it says that Warren was an original member of the founding team and made significant contributions. That's basically all it's saying. Between his sales and his section mate at HBS, that's what Warren was able to contribute to the company. He made the significant contributions that make it so he definitely deserves equity, in my opinion, and in George's opinion, I should say. So,
all right. How do you feel, Michael?
I mean, it's 0.5%. Well, so would George be willing to give 0.5% of his own equity to Warren, or?
if that's what it comes down to, then yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So do you guys
So is
have
that-
like a score? So Dallin, do you have a scorecard of like how low of numbers you're able to take before George will like bail out of the company?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So what I have right now,
Aren't we supposed to keep that confidential for negotiations, though?
what was that?
I said, aren't we supposed to keep that confidential, though, for negotiations?
Yeah, I guess so. So we won't get to discuss that.
No, that's what I
Bad
just
poker.
said. Yes, I do. I didn't tell you what it was.
All right.
So if George is willing to give a 0.5%, then let's just give George that, so that Warren's getting his 1.5. And then does Michael agree to just keep everything the way it was prior to him sending the letter in February?
What, to the normal agreement?
Yeah, the original agreement.
Where are you?
What were the percentages on the original agreement? Have we figured those out?
No, I don't know. It never
Well,
said in the case.
Yeah. I think, well, it'd be 1% and then 99% to divide between the three of us, but giving you a 5% premium. So what would that be? So Warren gets 1% under that original agreement. Okay, so
No, where is it? Okay. All right, so the lowest that I'll go is to 41% equity.
to 41.
So what I had down was Michael at 41. So I had George and Fook at 29%, and then Warren at 1%.
So at 29%. Huh?
Here's my thing with keeping Fook at the same range. Initially, Pook, or I apologize, I can never pronounce the name. Anyway, he argued for salary in addition to receiving the founder's equity. Everybody else gave up something to work here. He has not given up anything to work here. So why is he carrying so much of an equity in the company that, one, he's getting a salary, plus now we're giving him almost a third of the company in investment opportunities, or in equity, excuse me. I think that for for myself and for Michael, that's where, yes, we gave up a whole bunch, or we gave up $5,000, and it may not seem like a lot, but that's $5,000 more than what Fook has given up. So for us to be willing to give him a third of the company for programming, which don't get me wrong, is very important, and on top of that, give him salary, I think we're getting the short end of the stick on that one.
Well, you guys are looking at getting Fuchs services for $70,000 for salary. That was what they originally agreed upon. Mm-hmm. For Fuchs to be part of this deal at all, from salary that he's currently making of $200,000. So, yeah, you guys gave up $5,000, but Fuchs given up $130,000 to make this work. So Fuchs given up a lot. Fuchs already has a promising career and is doing quite well where he's at. You know, Fuchs actually putting up risk. You know, you guys, Michael and George are still in school. They've got other things. They can go and do other things, but Fuchs would just be stopping dead cold and where his path is leading right now, entirely taking a pay cut and giving full services to this company instead of to other companies that are willing to pay him more. Yeah. On the gamble that this will be successful and make money down the road.
So we can raise the salary for Fuchs, but so for every $10,000 that we raise the salary for Fuchs, so I think the agreement was that it would be a 0.5% equity decrease.
Yeah. Now, Fuchs is really looking for keeping the original agreement from November as far as how that was divided, which I still can't find what the original agreement was. I don't have my case study with me. I only have the score sheet with me. But leaving that where it was, and then also the salary at $70,000 is fine. Not really seeking, rather see a greater share of in the company, or the share that was originally agreed upon when we first did this, than increasing the salary and taking more out, because obviously the salary is a sore point with you guys in the first place.
I mean,
it's just a salary. That minimum $70,000 is the only way that can make this happen.
Yeah, so I'm okay with giving Fuchs a salary.
Okay. What about changing the percentage of the founder's equity split?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, that for us, you know, one of the things for George, one of the things is Fuchs is getting a $70,000 in salary, plus he's getting an annual compensation from his consulting work up to $110,000. So yes, to your point, Fuchs is, you know, losing some money, but if he's getting a $70,000 from, $70,000 from us, and he's bringing in an annual compensation from consulting work of $110,000, he's not losing that much. So I don't feel that bad.
No, he's only going to be bringing 40. He's ditching the $110,000 in consulting and figuring that $70,000 is going to be coming from the company, and he'll only be doing $40,000 worth of consulting outside.
Right. So he's still bringing in $110,000. That's what I was getting at. I apologize if it didn't come out that way.
Okay.
So, but
well, any change. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you said he was coming from 200,000 roughly. Is that right?
Yes.
So yeah,
that's what it claimed somewhere in the case study, that he was at 200,000.
So, you know, he's losing 90,000. You know, you jump from an experienced company where you're making that much to a startup company. You're making the jump knowing that you're not going to be making as much money as you might want to be making originally, anyways, in my opinion. So I don't.
Right, but he's not going in this as an employee. He's going in this as a founder. That's the only reason he would make that jump, to be a
Correct.
founder. And the 70,000 is to keep the 70,000 until site's up and running and income is coming in.
Right, but so to your point of giving him more equity. I don't think that George is not behind giving him any more equity in the company than what he already is currently carrying.
And that's fine. Fuchs not asking for any more equity. Fuchs is fine with where the equity was with the November agreement. It's just with the reduction in February. It's a deal for Fuchs. It's not going to go. It's not going to go any lower for Fuchs. It's not going to. The February deal is not going to work. The February percentages that Michaels proposes is not going to work at all.
What did Michael propose for February?
40 something percent.
45.
45. So that's knocking us down. That knocks
Where are you guys seeing that at?
George. It's in the case study. The exhibit's in the back. Bring it up on my laptop.
In the where? I apologize.
In the exhibits in the back of the case study, the original case study.
Oh, the original case study. Yeah.
Yep. I left mine back at the house. So I tried bringing it up on BYU on iLearn earlier, but iLearn was down. So let me see if I can bring it up again.
No, it's still down.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So
what,
Michael, what did you offer in February?
Let's see. So, all right, here it is. So what I offered in February was 45% for me, 28% for George, 26% for Fook, and 1% for Warren.
Okay. And then what was the deal with the
and then
what was the original
seed
agreement?
Let's see.
What was the original agreement for November? I think that's Exhibit 1, isn't it?
Yeah. The original agreement. It doesn't say percentages. It just says.
Oh, that's right. It just says 3%. It's divided by thirds, but a 5% to him. I'm gonna have to do the math.
And then my proposal for the seed equity. Oh, it's kind of just gives options. So I didn't really make a proposal yet for the seed equity, but so the lowest I'm willing to go, or what I think it would be. I mean, it's lower than what Michael wants, but what I think could be fair is I'm willing to go down to 40%. George gets 29.5, Fook gets 29, and then Warren gets his 1.5%.
I'm okay with that.
And then Fook still gets a salary of $70,000, but the seed equity will stay the same.
What is the seed equity currently?
It's Michael and George 50% each, and Fook doesn't get any seed equity.
And that's a deal breaker for Fook. What is the?
Well, Michael, would you be willing to give? Would you be willing to go to 45% seed? I'll go to 45% seed, and we can give Fook 10%.
Yeah.
Fook, does that work for you?
It's not looking like it. Fook's look. We need to finish working on the equity thing. Let's jump back up to the equity. The founders.
Well, how much equity does Fook want?
What the original one is. What was we got to figure out what the original percentages were for them. We're gonna have to do the math on that. So if Warren had 1%, that left 99%. So and then Michael had a 5% premium, so that would leave 94%, right? So 94% divided by 3, what does that come to? Does anybody got a calculator?
I'm pulling it up right now. $31.3.
Okay, so Fook has 31.3, George has 31.3, and that would leave 36.33333 on each of those to Michael is the current. That under the original November agreement, that was the current. So 36.3, 31.3, 31.3, and 1% for Warren.
Plus 1. So it'd be 36, 33, 33, and 1%.
No, it'd be 30.
What's that?
31.3.
31, George and Fook. And Michael's at 36.3. He has that extra 5%. All right. Sorry, I keep bringing the phone close to my face, guys.
That's okay.
Giving you some weird angles. Okay, so that's the original agreement. If it stayed as that, that is fine with Fook. Anything less for Fook is a deal breaker. He'll just walk and stay where he's at because he's doing fine where he's at. As far as Fook's salary, let's see. Now, weren't you giving? Now, George. Okay, so that's the original.
So here's my question for you, Fook. If we raised your salary to $80,000 and then would you be willing to drop down to the 29% equity with the $80,000 plus your $40,000 on top of it in your compensation?
Drop down at 29% on the original founder's equity?
Correct.
No, Fook can't do that. Fook can't drop his shares at all.
I guess we can just hire a new chief technical officer.
That's what it's sounding like.
Because I can't go any lower than that.
And I can't go any lower than that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can't stay with the original agreement from November, huh?
No.
It sounds like this was set up to fail from the beginning.
It definitely sounds like it was not meant to be an easy negotiation. I think all sides are supposed to be able to. I think all sides are technically having to give, but when I'm having to give, I'm not telling you guys what I've had to give, but I've given a lot to make it to the point where I was comfortable with the 40 for Michael, 29.5 for me, 29 for you, Fook, and with your 70,000. And then the 1.5 for Warren.
Yeah.
Like I said, I won't tell you what I got, what I've had to give, but I've had to give a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just starting off with the equity split. If it lowers at all for Fook walks. And it sounds like Michael's is set up to where he will. Sounds like Michael walks if it's anything less than 40.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so
here's Michael. Maybe here's a question we can ask for Fook. Is okay. So if we leave Fook at, I don't even know if I can do that. Can we even do that? This is me asking a question because now I'm at an impasse and I'm trying to make this work. So you guys tell me if this just sounds completely out of the question. If Fook wants to keep his 31.3% in the company, is Fook willing to go down to $40,000 in salary?
That is a possibility, actually.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of anything I can to keep this meeting going in the correct direction.
No, you are right. No, you are right. Let me look here. So what would George's equity be at? What's Fuchs at? Fuchs equity stays at 31.3. Michael's is 40 something. What does George's equity end up being then?
It'll be a lot lower. Let's see.
Because I think Fuchs can do the 40 grand. I really do.
So it would be at 27.2. So a lot lower.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, Fuchs can go down to 40 grand. If you leave the initial the equity at the 31.3, Fuchs can go to 40 grand.
I don't think that George will be able to do that though.
See, I can't. Again, I was just trying to throw something out there to see if the meeting can keep going, but now I'm doing my math and I can't do that.
Yeah.
So looking at that, that would be like 4% more equity for Fuchs plus 40,000 salary. George isn't getting any salary.
Yeah.
And George was like an original founder, so that kind of screws him over.
Oh, hold on one second, guys. I gotta mute for a minute.
Okay. This meeting was set up for failure from the beginning.
Yeah, I know. I literally can't go any lower than 40% or else Michael will leave.
Well, and see, I'm at 29%, and if I go any lower, then like you just made mention, I'm no longer getting anything out of I've put into it.
Yeah.
What is it down at the bottom of that? It gives the option to walk away.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm back, guys.
Okay.
I'm back. All right. Okay, so what do we? Let's see here. Maybe there's another solution. I'm trying to think of where would George's be? I'm wondering if instead of giving Warren a share, he's at 1%. Instead of giving Warren the 1%, can we buy him out with buy him out with like a portion of the seed equity that's coming in? Instead of giving him 1% of the founder's equity, why don't we just give him 1% of the seed money and pay him off?
I mean,
Would Warren be up for that?
Option.
That'd be cool, but I don't know.
I know it doesn't give us that option, but it says if the precise outcome that you reach is not listed as one of the options in the table, you may extrapolate the points to you using the information provided in the table. So, I mean, I don't know what Warren's position is. If Warren's, if it's a deal breaker, I don't know what George's position is. If it's a deal breaker, if Warren gets nothing, gets no shares in the founder's equity. But if it's not a deal breaker, why don't we just take money out of the seed equity when that money comes in and give them 1% seed equity and buy it off? And then those percentages just drop down 1% or 2% or whatever we agreed upon. And then that 1% can go over to back to George's, so it's not dropping him too low.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
Does it work for you, George? Is he still here?
I think he's muted.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Nope.
dropping Warren out does not work for me. Buying him out doesn't work for me at all.
Okay. Can Michael come off of his percentage at all? Back to the November numbers at all, or is that a no-go?
No, I can't. The lowest that I can go is 40%.
Really?
Yeah.
And the lowest I can go is 31.3. So what does that leave?
And what's the lowest that you can go, George?
Oh, he's back off for a second.
Sorry, I'm trying to log back on. All of a sudden, my case just disappeared, so I'm trying to log back on to it.
No problem. Michael, what did you say your lowest was?
40%.
40%. And there's no way around that. My lowest is the 31.3%. No way around that. So what does that leave? And Warren's lowest is going to be the 1%. I get, well, maybe Warren can, I don't know if we can knock Warren down to, well, I wonder what George's lowest is. Let's ask that. And then let's see what's left for Warren. Maybe we can knock Warren down to like 0.5% and still be within tolerance.
Yeah, I don't think George is allowed to do that.
I don't either. This is a very interesting simulation.
Yeah, it's probably supposed to be like this, so we realize that.
What's Star Trek Kobayashi Maru or something like that? I don't know if you're a Star Trek fan.
No.
The game you can't beat.
Yeah, well,
You
sounds
seen
about
the
right.
Star Trek movies?
Only the new ones.
Yeah, that was in the first of the new ones.
Oh, was it?
The simulation you can't win. Yeah, Kobayashi Maru. It's my inner dork coming out. I'll have to go shoot something later in the day to make up for it.
Let's see. Oh, Dallon's gone. Shoot, I got to get going in a little bit.
Me too. So we need to find out what Warren's at.
Yeah.
Or what George is at. We got to know what George's lowest is and what Warren's is, and total those up and see if it's even possible.
Yeah. This might be just the point of the simulation, is to not be able to agree.
Yeah, it's just interesting that they give a deal breaker on all of those. I mean, I would think that, some of us would have a deal breaker in the founder's equity, and others would have the deal breaker in the salary or the seed equity or in Warren's. I just find it odd that we all have that deal breaker in that one component.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gives Michael, because Michael was wanting 45%. It allows him to drop that like up to 5%, but so Fook doesn't allow him to drop any equity at all.
No.
Dang, that's crazy.
Any reduction to founder's equity is a deal breaker.
Dang. So Dallin, do you know what the lowest equity George is able to take?
I'm not able to go any lower than 2-3% from what I originally was. So if we were 31.3 before, I'm not able to go any lower than 3% from that.
So 28.3.
Correct.
So the only way that we'll be able to make it work is if Warren gets 1% equity.
And I'm not allowed to let Warren go any lower than 1.5% equity.
Really? Well, let's see.
So it's within 0.5%. Which that stinks. We can't buy him out.
28.3.
Does it specify founder's equity or seed equity? Because we can give him seed equity. It's still equity.
No, well, we can't. We actually can't give him seed equity either.
Why?
Our seed equity is set between Michael, George, and Fook. There's no option to give Warren any seed equity.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I'm just.
What if? I mean, the only way I can see it working. So for split of founders equity, I'm willing to go down to 38.9, and then George 28.3, Fook 31.3, Warren 1.5, but Fook would have to take a zero salary.
I can do that.
Okay.
Then,
well, if Fook's going to take a zero,
and then we'll give Fook a 10% seed equity. And that's my max that I can do for anyone.
I could do all those except for the. Let me think here. So don't change it to 0. That knocks me down to. Man, that just doesn't work. That does not work at all. Let's see. Get a, hold on. George's list 30 each. Okay. I could do all that. I just can't go to 0. I've got to make. Let's see, 50, 20. If you take. I would have to take 30,000 for Fook's salary. If I could get 30,000 for Fook's salary, that all works. And gosh, no, it'd have to be 30,000 for Fook's salary, and it'd have to be an equal share. On the seed equity, it'd have to be split 3 ways.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I can't do that one either.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of another way here.
I don't know if we're going to be able to. Because
Yeah.
It's not going to allow us to.
That doesn't even work. Actually, that doesn't even work. I'm still 6 points off. So it would have to be a 40. It would have to be a 40. It would have to be the 40 on Fook's salary.
See, so the rest of the people in my normal group that I meet with on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they said that they were able to come to an agreement. Granted, they only had they only had one person show up from their group, so whoever the other person was probably just got
screwed.
Yeah, just got pushed around, type of a deal. But
they probably end up having a. Yeah, they probably end up.
If that person didn't, if that person didn't show up, then they just probably gave them like way less equity.
Yeah, they gave them what they needed to be successful themselves.
Well, it ended up being I'm sure it ended up being a deal breaker, and they just didn't know that.
Because I'm looking at.
How do you know that?
I'm looking at all the math that I can do, and like I said, from the original that 31.3. From what I'm understanding from my reading, I can't go any lower than 3%.
So you can't go any lower than 28.3?
Yeah, because what's funny is I would like to go up an additional 2%, and that's not happening.
Yeah. And see, and by me not changing, I need to go up 1%, and by me not changing, it's basically it does nothing for me. And anything lower's out the door.
And see, what's funny is I'm actually losing points by letting myself go down 3%. I don't know if it tells you guys on there how much you guys are losing, but I'm losing points by letting myself go down.
Well, then that might be the secret to this game. we might have to lose points in certain areas to gain substantially in others to balance out to the correct amount. Because like in Fuch's not allowed to go down at all. That just gets me to 0.
Well, right.
If I go up, if I can get
No,
1%,
you're allowed to be at negatives.
Who?
see, I'm not on in Fuchs. He's not. Fuchs founders equity is not anything less than 0. It's said it's deal breaker.
Really?
So I didn't know you guys could be at negative. So that might be what needs to happen. And
Yeah.
then somewhere Fuchs needs to give something else up.
Well, see, mine doesn't say I'm allowed to go negative either.
Yeah.
Okay.
It allows me
So
to go
Michael.
negative.
So Michael's going to need to come down then.
No, I already went
And
as
then
far. I already went as far negative as I could go
okay, so you're at that point.
because I dropped
That
my
gets
I dropped my proposed equity from 45% to like 38.9%. So I maxed out my like negotiation.
after that it's a deal breaker, huh?
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't provide any more lower points.
After that, it's a deal breaker. Yeah.
All right. So okay, so the percentages are where they are, and there's no way around that. Okay. So
Well, let's do this. And I'm losing a lot of points. Fook, you have to be at 31.3.
yes.
Michael, what do you have to be at?
38.9.
What does that leave me with Warren getting 1.5%?
28.3.
Let's just go with 28.3 because my reading says that we've interviewed many CTO candidates, but it's hard to find someone as good as Fook.
Oh, it
So
did say that case study. Yeah, that's right.
so I'm gonna bite the bullet for our group here, and hope that you guys don't throw me under the bus for taking the bullet. But I'll go down to 28.3 if that leaves Warren with 1.5, if that keeps Fook around, and if that makes Michael happy.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
there
But just know I am losing. I'm losing points.
okay. And Fook is gained.
well, so
Fook is
if
at 0. Okay.
If George goes negative points though, doesn't he walk?
It doesn't say he walks.
Oh.
No, it does. No, it doesn't on his, because I can tell that from just what it says on his with mine.
But Fook, if you go
Okay,
into
so
the negatives in the points system, then you walk.
yeah, it's yep.
Man, Fook does
So
not like to bargain.
apparently not. Apparently not. Okay, so all right.
What were you,
So
Michael?
Michael's at 38.9.
Even the way it is now, I can't do it. Unless Fook gets zero
No,
salary.
unless Fook gets 0 salary. Okay.
With the founder's equity the way it is, I can't go any lower. Fook can't get a salary. And then the seed equity, the best that I can do is to give Fook 10% of the seed equity.
See, and that puts me below. That puts me way negative. Zero's a deal break. Zero's a deal breaker. 10% is way negative. And there is nowhere else to make it up. The salary to Fook is really the most important. Let me see if George is. How the heck does that work?
Well, the founder's equity is the most important. Fook can't
It
even
is,
move
it
it at
is.
all.
But from what you guys are saying on yours, what your minimums are, that makes no sense. What you guys are saying your minimums are is all deal breakers. The only place where I could George's, this is weird. I can't give up any shares, or I won't give up any share. But George could have greater shares than me, and that's fine. But then I would need my salary up high, and then that works.
So at the bottom of your screen, does it say to agree to the final negotiated agreement, you must score better than 0 points?
It says on mine, you must score better than 40 points. What
Really?
does yours say? Yeah.
Holy moly.
So yours is different than what's yours say, George?
I'm down at negative 220.
Mine says that to agree on the final negotiated agreement, I must score better than negative 115.
And you're right at the limit.
Yeah, and I'm right at that limit.
That is
Yeah.
odd.
There's
Because I have to
no
score better than 40. I have to
there's
score better than 40.
there's no way. So someone out of the three founders is going to leave.
Well, let me put in
Is that
everybody's
even an
numbers again.
option?
Let me
Well,
put in everybody's numbers and see where I'm at here. So 28.3.
What's the charge on the Verizon pairs? Okay, can you hand that to me? Let me look at it. I mean, I don't think, is a founder even allowed to walk in the simulation?
well, if there's no agreement that can even be made for all three of us, then it's not going to be able to work.
What about this? What about... Sorry, I'm playing with numbers right here, trying to see if I can get something to work.
That's crazy.
All right, so what about this? How does this play out for each and every one of you guys? Okay, Michael, 40%, 40.9%. Fook, 31.3% with 70,000 in salary. I will take 26.3, and Warren will get 1.5. In the split of seed equity, it'll be Michael 50, me 50, Fook 0.
That puts Fook at that's a deal breaker for Fook.
Jeez.
He can do 10%.
Okay,
Does that work? On
What?
the seed equity, Fook could do 10% on the seed equity.
okay.
Does that work?
That works for me.
Does that work for you, George?
Yes, that works for me.
So that's okay. So it was 70.
Oh,
It was Fook's salary at 70,000.
78,000.
Oh,
All right,
you had
so,
78,000?
so I'll drop down to 40%, and I'll give you the 0.9. So that'll put you at 27.2, George. Oh, shoot, I can't do that.
Okay, you can't do that.
Let me just see what I can do.
Hold on, Michael, what did you say you had as far as salary for Fook?
Okay. So here's what will work for me if you guys all type this into and see if it works for all of us. So 40% for Michael, 27.2% for George, 31.3% for Fook.
Hold on. 27.2 for George.
Yeah.
Okay.
31.3 for Fook. 1.5 for Warren. You guys got all that?
Yeah.
I do.
70,000 salary for Fook. And then we'll
Okay.
split the seed equity 45, 45, 10.
Okay. So let me add that up.
That works for me.
Let me check that. That's 30, 80, 30.
Doesn't that calculate it for you?
Well, he's on his phone though.
Oh.
I can't get into the website's not going. So, actually, no, hold on. I wasn't, maybe I can do that. There it is.
If this is how difficult it is to get a company running with partners, the only companies I'll ever be starting is a sole proprietorship or or an actual company, because I'm not playing this game.
That's why negotiations sometimes take up to a year.
Yeah.
These big deals. That's why there's no peace in the Middle East. Right now, it looks like I am. Is there any way that Fuchs' salary can go to 80,000?
Let's see. No, not with that percentages. I mean, I can try going back to.
If we give you $80,000, I got to drop you back down to 0% in the seed equity.
And I can't, that's a deal breaker for me. And it's a deal breaker for Warren to be less than 1.5%. That's a deal breaker for George, right?
Correct.
So that is out. That's some -6 for me. What a weird simulation. There's got to be just like some perfect storm that we're not seeing that makes everything jive.
What about 75,000 for you, Fook, for salary with a 0% seed equity?
The 0% seed equity is a deal breaker.
Oh, it is.
If we went, now I was gonna say if you knocked me down to 5%, then we'd have to give somewhere else.
Okay, George, can you go to? If I go to 40,
Coming up.
if I go to 40,
You guys are logged into it fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not letting me come up with it. See, because I'm at. You said 70. If you give me 75, that would give me 85. 85 minus 50 is 30. No. 30, 50, 30, 50, 85, 85. So minus 50, that doesn't work. It doesn't work.
What doesn't work?
I don't score the 40 points.
Okay.
I'm off by 5.
All right.
With that.
Put in these numbers, guys, and see if it works. So 40.5% Michael, 26.7% George, 31.3 for Fook, 1.5 for Warren, 80,000 salary for Fook.
How much?
80,000.
80.
And then
Okay.
split seed equity 45, 45, 10.
Okay, so that's a minus 50. This is that. Still off by 6.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
That doesn't make any sense because we're giving.
The only way that doesn't work is if Warren. The only way that works is if Warren stayed at the 1% equity. It's the only way it works.
Do this. Do this. Oh, no. I can't do that.
That just doesn't make any sense because. So Fook. Because Fook's staying at the same equity he was going to get in the original agreement. He's boosting his salary and he's getting a portion of the seed equity, but still not able to agree on that.
So do this. Do try this. Michael 42.5. George 24.7.
Can you go that low?
Not really.
All right, try this, guys. Try this. I'll go to 40.2.
Well, no. I still have a green check mark, so try mine.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, George.
All right.
If you were to increase.
Okay.
Go
Put
ahead.
yours to 31.6, Fook.
Okay.
I'll drop to 40.2.
Oh. Where are you guys doing this? Worksheet.
On a score
I've been doing it all by hand.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Well, no, it's not. That's not why. But where are you doing this? Where's this worksheet at?
On the simulation.
Under prepare or under polls?
Under score calculator.
Prepare.
Okay, there we are. Okay, score calculator. All right. So here we go. Okay, so go ahead and give me the percentages again.
40.2%.
Oh, well, shoot. Right now it says, doesn't it say right now that Fook's at, okay, no, okay. Go ahead and give me, what do we got here?
All right, Michael. 40.2.
Okay.
George, 26.7. Fook, 31.6. Warren.
31.6 or 31.3?
31.6.
Okay.
Warren, 1.5.
All right.
Salary for Fook, 80,000.
Okay, I am showing, okay. Hold on here. Okay, salary for Fook, how much?
80,000. And split of seed equity, 45, 45, 10.
That makes no sense.
What's your score?
You know what? I think the 31.3 for some reason is off.
What do you mean?
Because it was showing before I logged in and did this, it was giving the percentages at 100, and it said that we were down like the 20s. So anyways, Fook's score is way up. So okay, that would do. You know what we can do then? And if this helps you guys, I can take the salary down to 50.
So Fook can go lower than 31% equity?
Evidently, the 31.3% is wrong because putting that in gave me a ton of points.
All right. Well, we're not going to give.
When I first logged in, I don't know how the heck they've got it distributed because the way we did it with you getting 5% premium, everything divided out, that's how it came out. But still,
Right. Okay. So we're not going to give Fook 31% then.
we are well. Leave the. Okay, so what do you want to give Fook then?
Well,
So do we leave the salary at 80?
yeah. Well, because we were doing it wrong the whole time. Michael and
Okay, hold
George
on.
are like all the way to their negatives, and Fook is probably like way positive. So that's not really fair.
Yep.
I
Nope.
can't move anymore, guys. You have my hands like tied in like 6 square knots.
Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay. It's 1.5. We'll go with that. Okay. Now let's take Fuchs down. Okay, so what percentage do you guys want to go?
Let's see. I mean,
Let's try Fook out at 28%.
Okay, what's that going to put everybody else at?
Well, actually, let's go 41%.
Okay, I can't go to 28. I can go to 29.
What?
so here's what I think. All right, Michael stay at 40%. I think
Ooh.
it's
97.4. Okay, go ahead and give me the percentages. What were you saying?
hang on just a second.
Here's the cell phone.
Okay. All right, Michael 40.5, George 29, Fook 29, Warren 1.5.
We're
Okay.
we're
Give
we're
me it
too
again.
low.
Michael's what?
40.5.
Okay.
40.5.
George and
George is
Fook.
at what?
George and Fook both at 29%.
Okay.
Okay.
Warren at 1.5.
Okay, we're still low. Okay, that's it right there.
Okay. And then we can even
that works for Fook.
Okay. And then we can do salary of 80,000.
Well, you can leave it at 50, and Fook should be just fine.
Let me adjust it. Let me see. Oh. Fook can do 50,000.
Okay. And then let's see.
Try to see Fook, Michael, or Fook. Your real name's Michael, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's just really confusing. I'm sorry.
Just call me Fook for the simulation, because I'm Michael and he's actually playing the part of Michael. So
Yeah, that's
just keep it
confusing.
under parts.
Okay, so try to put yours in it to split a 50-50 equity on that.
That's the one thing I can't do. That's the deal breaker.
Okay.
I have to stay at 10%.
Put you at 10% then.
So is everyone
That's my lowest.
Is everyone pretty close to their limit then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so am I.
So is everybody breaking where they're supposed to then?
Yeah, I'm good the way it is.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
Okay, I'm good as well. Hallelujah.
All right.
It was supposed to have a happy outcome.
I don't see how, but yes. Good. So I'm just trying to figure out what these original percentages were.
I don't know. It would have been a lot useful if they would have given us those.
Yeah. Because at no changes, anything less was a deal breaker. That doesn't add up. So, all right. Anyways, okay, guys.
All right. Well, I don't know if I have to post this video or not. I don't think we do, but if we do have to post it, I can just email me and I'll send you guys this link.
It might go in the post discussion poll. I think we got to post it in the post discussion poll.
Yeah. If it does, I'll email you guys the link.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Hey, the submission for this week, it just says these are the questions for during your discussion, but it doesn't are we supposed to submit anything? I mean, it shows the box for it.
I think we're still.
Did you guys submit it?
Submit what?
A case study. Are we supposed to
Yeah.
still submit a case study?
Yeah.
Just on the question? Read that wrong then.
Yeah. And it sounds like we still have to meet with our original group too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really. I didn't think we did.
Yep.
Okay.
That was a confusion all week. So.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday and a great weekend, and good luck throughout the remainder of the class.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
See ya.
You too, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.